r/ask Reddit. Which double standard irritates you the most? Someone being able to poke fun at you but then can't handle it when they're the one being poked fun at back. I don't trust people like that. I don't trust people. My wife complains when I spend time playing video games, but has no problem with me spending the same amount of time watching TV. She's on Facebook on her phone the whole time either way, so what does it matter? Same for my parents, makes no sense. Same. They'd rather me sit in my room on my phone alone than play video games with my friends online. You looked at for a map. Start work at 8 o'clock. Leave at 4:30, get beached at 4, knocking off early, rock up at 10 o'clock. Leave at 5:30, and aren't you great for always working late? I've always fantasized about being able to just choose my start and end times as long as the work was done. But every job I've had micromanages those things. Curly fry in my regular fries equals awesome. Regular fry in my curly fries equals gross. I get very excited about both scenarios. Word, I'm all about fry diversity. Woman taking care of her children without her partner equals nothing special. Man taking care of his children without his partner equals babysitting. A man taking care of his own children is doing nothing more special, heroic, or out his range of normal skills and duties than a woman. You don't babysit your own children. Hence the saying, it takes so little to be a bad mother, and so little to be a good father. This is an even better point than mine. Me spending $20 on video games is stupid and wasteful. Other hobbies are perfectly fine. Take up knitting. You spent how much on? Insert item here. Well, yes, I did. The way I frame it now is cost per hour. Yes, I spent $50 on an ergonomic crochet hook. This hook will probably outlive me. I crochet an average of X hours per week, so even at $0, 10 per hour, I'll have got my value for money. I figure with the amount of time I spend on any given game, it's usually worth it. For example, I got Fire Emblem Fates All 3 Paths for probably around $100 total, and have put 500 hours into it. I'm happy with the amount I spent versus the playtime I got, even if it is a lot of money. I watch a lot of football, soccer. A player will dive and all that team's fans say it's a stonewall penalty. Then when a player on the other team does exactly the same thing, they are a filthy cheat who should be banned. Obviously I have my favorite team and I want them to win, but I'm not blind. Thanks for having an opinion about something other than gender politics. Thanks. I see threads like these very often and it's always gender politics. So I wanted to share something a little bit different. People who genuinely insult you, but anytime you ever call them out on their bullshit they say, "Can't you take a joke, a-holes?" In America, an 18-year-old is old enough to get shipped off to a foreign land with a gun and overthrow the government, but you are not mature enough to buy a beer until you're 21. I actually think the age of the military should be raised. They don't allow 18-year-olds to drink because of whatever brain development issues you want to go off of. But if that's the case, then 18-year-olds obviously aren't mentally prepared and developed enough to fight a war and risk the traumatic events and lifelong stress that could come with it. My ex joined the Marines at 17 because his home life was so bad. He completed basic training, turned 18, and left the next day for Nam. He said that the helicopter they were on was landing in a field, but when it was about 2 feet off the ground, they were told to jump out. He could hear bullets whizzing past. 18 years old. Woman, here are things about you I don't like. You need to change. Man, okay. Here are some things you should change. Woman, if you can't accept me for who I am, then maybe we shouldn't be together. This is my wife. You should change. Get a divorce and find a better wife. That it's okay to tear yourself down and express negative sentiments about yourself to other people. But if you express genuine pride in your accomplishments, you are often viewed as a braggart. It does get kind of weird when people make too many self-depreciating comments. It comes off as cringy and awkward. Yeah, I actually really like when people talk about things they have achieved in an honest way. Meanwhile, I have a few friends who constantly talk on social media and in person about how incredibly shit they are. It makes me cringe that they try so hard to be awkward. Calling a woman fat is considered verbal abuse, but making fun of a guy's height, which he cannot change, is a-okay. On the same vein, calling someone fat is wrong, but telling skinny people they look like a cancer patient every time they take off their shirt is okay. Haha, it's only a joke. I wish I was that skinny. The majority of the world does not think it's okay to tell a skinny person they look like a cancer patient. That's absurd. Search my bag as I leave the store. How about all the older people than myself that you let stroll on by without bag checking? At my workplace, the only people I've ever seen shoplift or attempt to shoplift are those over 50. Unless store security has a specific reason to suspect you of theft, you are under no obligation to stop for them. Most of them don't know that, but goddamn. I've been waiting my whole life to confront some hapless Walmart security schmuck who tries to stop me from leaving the store with my purchases. Edit. In the US. No idea about other countries. I just want to be able to go to the park with my 5-year-old niece and not get the cops called on me because I watch her as she plays. 3 times this shit has happened. Edit. Since people ask to hear more the police being called, I'll explain. Although there isn't much to it. Just a quick note, I'm studying crim, and because of that I've done some internships and gotten to know a lot of the officers in the couple districts near me. The first and third times were literally just an officer showing up and accessing the situation to make sure everything was okay. I explained myself and they left. Nothing more to it. I didn't even see any of the other moms calling or giving me looks. The second time was a little different though. I didn't see who called the cops beforehand, nor did I see anyone giving me looks, which I do get every once in a while. I just saw the cop car pull up. Funny thing was though, the cop who showed up was actually someone I knew from my internship. When he came out, he saw me and immediately knew what was going on. A mom came up to talk to him when he was speaking with me and started saying I was staring at their kids and thought he was going to steal one. Now the officer I knew was straight faced and all official about it, but he did tell me afterwards he was trying hard not to laugh. I wish I told her to her face to screw off, but I just said this was my niece and the officer said nothing was wrong, so she stormed off. In hindsight, I wish when I left with my niece after the incident I would have grabbed her and sprinted off like I was stealing her and just looked at the mom with a screw you look, but I didn't. My niece would have definitely played along with it too. But then again, someone could have called the cops again, so it's probably for the best. I only thought of this afterwards, lol. I cannot stress enough that this still isn't all too common though. I get looks and stuff sometimes, but most of the time the mothers actually know me and talk with me since I see them quite often. But some don't know me and think negatively. I have had a mother stand up for me when another woman gave me a look, which I give mad respect to her for it. My husband is the one that stays home with the kids. He hated taking them to the park because of this, the looks, the snide comments. Try to talk to the moms, he must be hitting on them. Try to talk to the kids, must be a pedo. Or he is so nice for babysitting and giving mom a break. SMH. I hate this stereotype and double standard, especially the last one. It's not freaking babysitting if it's your own kid. Moms can do things outside of taking care of the kids, and dads can handle kids without having to give mom a break. As someone who's underweight and has a hard time gaining weight, nothing pisses me off like how people feel it's okay to make fun of my weight, body proportions, etc. But God forbid the same was done for someone overweight. I totally agree. I'm tall and very lean and have been mocked and had my masculinity questioned by other adults because of it. The funny thing is that nobody gave me shit for it growing up. But now I'm in my 30s and people act like children, giving me shit for my body directly to my face. I even had a drunk lady call the cops on me one time for stolen valor because she thought I was too skinny to be a Marine. In front of other Marines from my unit, no less. I don't ducking get it. She called the cops on you because she didn't think you were a Marine? That's not even a crime, much less one worth calling the cops about. Nobody bats an eye when my dog takes a dump in the middle of a park while staring at a group of kids, but everyone loses their minds when I do it. When people say women can't rape men. Stereotypes are bad. Everyone from the South are a bunch of hillbilly racist KKK Nazis. To be fair, I recently moved to the South, and, well, it's not everyone but it's noticeable. So, I've lived in the deep South for 25 years, and yeah, we have a lot of loud racist, homophobic, misogynistic duckers down here, but we also have a larger number of people who act just like every positive stereotype of the South. I can't tell you how generous the people in my hometown are. Penalties for criminal acts. A first-time embezzler will get maybe 2 years in prison if they stole upwards of 6 figures. A first-time low-level drug dealer will get at least that much and likely a whole lot more, followed by extensive probation. The reality is that a person embezzling from a retirement pool probably does much more significant harm to a greater number of people than a person slinging dope to a dozen or so customers. Oh god. In my hometown, we have a couple of prominent families. Like all small towns, I imagine. One member of one of these families was an estate lawyer who embezzled the duck out of several elderly people in our community. He was eventually caught, prosecuted and sent to prison. His family did not have to repay any of the money he stole because of his family connections. He spent only 2 years in prison and then was quietly released. He got a high-paying job with a company car almost immediately upon his release. There is a serious issue with how crime is dealt with here in North America. In our city, if it's a funeral for a municipal official, streets are closed to allow for the convenience of the family in the procession, even if it's a small funeral, whereas ordinary citizens, no matter how much they contributed to the life of the community over their lifetimes, don't receive the special privileges and convenience paid to city employees. This made me so angry I was tempted to downvote, but it's not your fault. My father is always yelling at us. Don't worry, I'm 17 and almost out of here. But when I, or really anyone, tries to talk to him, he gets angry and accuses me of having an attitude. I get that I need to stay calm and all, and I do. But for real, am I really the one with an attitude here? Nope. My parents say that as well. They don't recognize facts. Women are encouraged to express emotion, and people will come running to their aid if in distress. Men are not encouraged to do so as it is seen as weakness. Guys in distress, you will not see men are running to help. Don't even get me started on childcare, as a woman alone with a small child is seen as normal. Guy alone with small child, he may be a kidnapper. Girlfriend, I need you to be honest with me. Guy, I'm worried I'll fail. Girlfriend, I'm sorry, I can't date someone who's capable of experiencing fear. Similarly, a woman must stay at home with the kids because the kids need their mother. A father that stays at home with the kids is not needed by anyone, is a failure and is something to be mocked. Fathers are not secondary figures when it comes to parenting. But you literally can't say that without a brigade of people jumping down your throat and feeling offended from both sides. If a woman has sex with a lot of men, she's a slut. But if I do it, I'm a homosexual. You probably forgot to say no homo. Busting your ass at a job, but always overlooked for promotions because you're not good at politics. Being besties with management, or kissing ass. Or busting your ass at a job that has you on your feet for hours but wanting to sit for 10 minutes to give your feet a break means you're lazy. I used to bartend at a country club pool where all the waiters and waitresses were members' kids. They would routinely spend shifts on their phones or sitting down. Bartenders were all hired with experience from the service industry because they weren't naive to the laziness of members' kids and they needed someone accountable managing the liquor. One day when there were like 4 people at the pool and it was 100 degrees, I went inside and sat down with a line of sight to the booze, and the boss man came and asked me why I was inside. Stone-faced, I looked at him and said, "Oh, so mandated heat break," and he just left. I was pissed because the 4 servers were at a table 20 feet away and he didn't say shit to them. If you're bad towards your parents, you're a brat. If your parents are bad towards you, you're an ungrateful brat. That's a thing I never got. I understand that raising a child is piles and piles of work, but a parent can't continue to laud the fact that they feed you and provide you a home until you're 18. Those are things that everybody knows you have to sign on for when you have a kid, and something that the parents chose to do. It's like getting a dog and getting angry at it for barking even though you feed it when you were the one who agreed to feed it daily by getting the damn thing. I've seen my friend get hit in college once. He tried walking away multiple times but the girl started coming after him. The people around starting whispering that he's a kitten and that he probably deserves everything. He finally had enough and slapped the girl in the face. There was a riot as soon as it happened. All the girls and a lot of guys started jumping onto him and hitting him multiple times. The teacher finally comes and guess what? He gets thrown out and the girl is taken care of even though he barely did anything. Your college sounds like a high school. This post reads like a high schooler fantasizing about this happening at a college. Why the duck would a teacher intervene? Everyone there was an adult. A professor would call security or the cops, not try and stop that shit themselves. Watching esports and having people say dumb shit such as, wait, so you're just watching someone else play a video game? That's stupid, why don't you just play it yourself? How about you shut the duck up, Steven? You could go play football every Sunday with your friends. Instead you choose to paint your face and body, get thoroughly drunk and spend the day in a small stinky room with 6 other painted men, while you all scream at professional athletes on the TV as if you are somehow qualified to coach or educate them in the sport they are a paid professional in. They can't hear you, Steven. Duck Steven. My sister, I have labels X, Y, and Z, and you need to accept all of them. I can't accept you because you're Christian Beach. Our mom is trying so hard to have a relationship with you. But you are so ducking obsessed with labels that you use it as an excuse to drive everyone away. You might think you are super tolerant, accepting of other people, but you are one of the most close-minded people I've ever met. As someone who's traversed both sides of the political spectrum, nobody is really that different. It basically boils down to 2 groups of shitty people patting themselves on the backs for adhering to their own definition of goodness or morality. That it is accepted when a black person uses a racist stereotype about white people, but the reverse is not. A racist is a racist, guys. Edit. Wow. A lot of people are struggling to justify racism here. Edit 2. Lots of racists here in denial about being racists. Lol. Edit 3. This has been great fun. Even my black friends I shared this with are amazed at how far people will stretch to avoid saying that such a hypocrisy is racist. We're all following it and having real fun at the gymnastics. I've had discussions on Reddit where multiple people say racism is a white-only thing. These people sincerely believe only white people can be racist. I think it's just a way for non-white racists to justify being racist. It's the equivalent of I have a black friend or I'm not racist, but other races can sure as hell be prejudiced as all hell. I have known some black people who disparage Hispanics when called out on it. Apparently they can't be racist or prejudiced cause they are black. That girls want to be treated equal to men but still think they can't hit a guy all they want but freeze up and are just shocked that a guy would hit a girl back. Open bracket. BTW, I myself am a chick. I loved Whoopi Goldberg's losing her shit on the other women on The View about this. Basically they are talking about a case where a woman hit her husband, NFL star I think, first, and he hit her back and messed her up good. They kept saying a man should never hit a woman, and Whoopi went off saying no one should hit anyone. But whether you're a man or a woman you cannot hit someone and not expect them to hit you back, and goes on saying that it's frankly dangerous to teach girls boys will never hit them, both for potentially abused men and women having men react to the woman's violence with violence in kind. I'm not a big guy. There are plenty of women who could mess me up in a fight. Even a small woman beating on me could easily have a weapon and kill me. Women are just as capable of violence as men. I agree that this is completely insane. I've called out SOS of mine for player hitting me. It's a bad habit to catch. As a man I'm worried about looking at or talking to other people's kids in fear of being labeled a pedo. Can't imagine women have the same issues. I have short hair and sometimes I look pretty masculine. If I ever speak to an unknown child or help them while they're lost, I always get these looks and shit. Trying to figure out if the person should think it's okay I'm a girl, or if they need to worry because I'm a guy that is preying on this lost child who can't find their way around a huge ducking department store. It's so irritating because a man can't act paternal to a child who isn't theirs, but a woman can act mothering to a kid that isn't theirs. When Aphrodite lies naked in a shell she's a goddess and she's beautiful, but when I do it, I'm drunk and no longer allowed in the aquarium. When my manager earns £25,000 a year for literally sitting on her ass in a comfy spinny chair stapling shit, not granting holiday forms and writing rotas whilst I deliver 700 kilograms of shopping in a van over 150 miles with no radio or AC for £7.50 an hour and can't get a holiday unless I book it 2 months in advance. I could live with it, but we're super short staffed, so we all have to do extra. She saved the company some money at the expense of our sanity and got a £5,000 bonus at Christmas. I got £150. Open bracket. UK supermarket. Women who are super body positive to other women. Fat, skinny, bald, retarded, 9-inch spikes sticking out of their back. Girl, you are beautiful, and any man who can't see that is the one that has something wrong with them. But they would sooner die than date a chubby fella. For the record, I used to be really big. I've dropped 80 pounds. I'm currently in a relationship and happy. But that kinda shit still lurks the hell out of me. Body positivity is good. You gotta love yourself before you love other people. But when you refuse to listen to health advice, there is nothing wrong with being plus sized. But if you have a bargain bucket before bed and can't walk up a flight of stairs without a stop, you need to reassess something. Girls can abuse guys and nobody will bat an eye. Reverse the roles and the guy is suddenly the spawn of Satan. I think abuse is awful, no matter who is doing it. But in this day and age where men and women should be equal, to see women get a pass is stupid. I always hated back in high school how doing the right thing, being responsible, and generally following the rules meant you would be reprimanded when you broke the rules. But a kid that always broke the rules would be praised the one time they actually did something right. Like, positive reinforcement is good and all, but the kids doing what they're supposed to all the time deserve the praise more than the kid who barely follows the rules. Child custody. A kid who isn't a kid anymore. I used to babysit had a baby girl a few years ago. The mother took that child out of state with her. No word to him about it. He had to fight just to be able to see her, and he would have lost if his mother wasn't living with him and able to give the whole female vibe. It's disgusting. He is an amazing dad. Most girls are okay with being in a relationship where the guy is more financially or academically or whatever successful, but most guys are uncomfortable and intimidated if the tables are turned. Sugar mamas PM me. That only men's anger is seen as legitimate. If a woman is angry, she is always questioned about her period. The thing my fiancee's parents do, they constantly bash her for her choices. Good choices. BTW, just not the ones they wanted. They'd literally rather she be unsuccessful and led the life she hates, and tell her what she can't and shouldn't do. But when I encourage her to do whatever she wants and whatever makes her happy, I'm controlling her. Edit. Life. Not lie. Gays, our community is loving and accepting of all ways of life, unless you're out of shape and unattractive or you don't fit into any gay subgroup. We got a conscription in our country, and it's only for men. Once in a while equality between men and women comes up, and when someone says that both men and women should serve their country, you get the counter argument men should then give birth. Having a child is not just women's job, nor is it mandatory. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.